Hi, season's greetings and thank you. As you know, we're coming to the end of the year, and in typical BaylorIC fashion, we like to do a end of year review. So we'll do some awards this year. In this particular video, I'm going to talk about the comeback of the year. And again, it's a personal opinion, personal preference. Sometimes people can be influenced by other people's opinions, other people's videos, other people's thoughts. But for my personal opinion, the comeback of the year, well, some would say Amir Khan, somebody who's been knocked out. A lot of people said he should have retired. His comeback, he's ended the year with a win over Devon Alexander, which is fair play. But for my comeback of the year, and I'd like to add Dave Jacobs into that because, you know, obviously he stopped his boxing career because he had a very serious illness. I think he had cancer, and he came back from that. Danny Jacobs, I think Durrell was not well as well. Anthony Durrell, at some point of his career as well, he wasn't well. But for me, the comeback of the year, and I'm surprised this man hasn't been mentioned, is Tyson Fury, and I'll explain this. The comeback of the year, because I don't think a comeback always means somebody getting knocked out in a ring and coming back and winning a world title. That's one thing, but I also take into consideration the things a fighter has to deal with outside of the ring, and my God, Tyson Fury has had quite a few things to consider in 2014. Let's take the two pullouts from David Haye, the two fights that were scheduled. That didn't happen. Then you had the fight that was signed for him to go and fight. He had to fight against Joey Abel. He didn't look in great shape. Although he dismissed Joey Abel, which he meant to do at this level, at that level, dismissed Joey Abel, the performance was pretty sloppy. After that, you could tell he looked demotivated. You know, after that, the fight to fight Derek Chisora in a rematch. Derek Chisora had some good wins since his knockout defeat to David Haye, and Chisora was considered one in the top 10. European champion as well. Chisora was looking good. There were some vulnerabilities and people had question marks about Chisora's punch resistance, but other than that, Chisora looked better, had lost weight, and was performing better at this new weight. So Chisora was coming back, and his eyes to cause an upset and to put the wrong right to being in better shape, because we always said in the first fight Chisora wasn't in shape. Tyson Fury then, Chisora pulls out with a hand injury. Fury then decides to fight Ustinov. Ustinov was all set to go. He was at the weigh-in, we were all set to go. And then the terrible news, as you know, about Hughie Fury. And the cancellation, another cancellation. This time was due to family matters. And I'll tell you something, there were a lot of people out there that gave Tyson Fury stick and the Fury camp stick because they decided to side by the fact that it wasn't about money, it was about family values. And those same people that have probably given the Fury stick are the same people now that are probably cheering Tyson Fury at the end of the night against Derek Chisora. There are some sick people in there in the world, and they don't seem to care about family. But the one thing you know about Fury is, thick or thin, they stick through, and their values are with family first and foremost. And then the rearranged fight after the first cancellation. Bear in mind, Tyson Fury's had back-to-back cancellations with David Haye. He then has Derek Chisora pulled out with an injury to the hand, and then the fight finally happens, and the performance that Tyson Fury put on was a top-class performance. Outboxed Chisora over a 10-round, a one-sided beating. showed a lot more, showed stability as a fighter, showed that he can follow out instructions, didn't do things silly, and just stuck to a game plan and boxed. Turned southpaw at a time as well during the fight. So, and looked good doing it. Completely diffused the Chisora plan and put on a top performance. So, for me, the comeback of the year is Tyson Fury. Bearing in mind what's happened outside the ring and all the distractions and all the things that a lot of fighters may have used as an excuse to bail out, we now have a guy that is now a contender to fight Vladimir Klitschko. Whether he beats Vladimir Klitschko or not, that's a totally different conversation. But for this and this award, Tyson Fury, you are voted by BaylorIC TV the comeback of the year. Good on you. Fantastic 2014 in the end for you. And wow, it's going to be exciting 2015 with a fight against Christian Hamer. Big punching Christian Hamer in London. So fight fans have got something to look forward to before that fight against Klitschko. Whether it happens or not against Klitschko is another question altogether. But a fantastic comeback. Tyson Fury and Team Fury, my hats are off to you. I'm out.